Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Designs here. Thanks very much for joining me today. I had planned on my next video being a walk through the new catalogue which goes live on the 5th of September. But actually I made a card which I based a pizza box on, which was my last video. It's a bit complicated this, doesn't it? But actually the card was really nice and really summery, so I just wanted to do a quick video to share that with you. So if you've seen the last video that I did about the pizza boxes, the card inspired that design on the box. So I will share that with you. What usually happens to me when I do a video is that the minute we stop filming, I remember 6 things I should have said. So bear with me, I just want to go back and say just a couple of things about the boxes that I forgot. So if you watched the other video, I hope that makes sense. If you didn't, just zone out for a couple of minutes and I'll be back with what I actually set out to film this time. So pizza box, I mentioned it was food safe. So I was talking about whether you put a cookie or something like that in it. Now obviously if you're going to put food in that's unwrapped, it makes more sense to put it in a bag. And actually we do these little 7.6 by 15.2 centimetres gusseted bags, which are actually food safe. So they're ideal if you want to use the box for putting a cookie in, or maybe some posh truffle chocolates or something like that. So I just wanted to mention that they are £4.75 for 25. The other thing is it's food safe, as I said, so it's ideal for putting in chocolates that are wrapped. Now obviously this is a plain pizza box, an undecorated one, but if you missed the last video, that's the sort of thing that you can do with the boxes. So if you can just imagine that I've been busy crafting and this is a really pretty box, makes a great little gift box for some chocolates. The other thing I bought with these in mind was these little bath foamers, and I'm not going to bother getting them out of the box, but basically 3 of them will fit along the side, and you'll get another 3 and another 3. So again, a lovely gift for somebody. I like this one because I've got this 10 for whatever it was I paid for it, which means I get to keep one and have a really luxurious bath at some point. So basically, whenever I'm out shopping, I keep my eye out for little gifts and things. I mentioned on the previous video I found this at a garden centre in the sale. Perfect size for the pizza box. So a little box of little bits and pieces to hand, a few pizza boxes, you're never short of a little gift to give to somebody. So that's all I wanted to say on that. So basically, as I said, the card I made earlier in the week, which is on my Facebook page, inspired me to make that one. I just want to share that card with you really quickly because it's, as I say, a nice summery card and nice and bright and cheerful. So I've got here a piece of lovely lipstick, one of the 2018-2020 in colours. It's 8 by 6, scored at 4 on the long side. That's to make my card base. Then I've got 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, my black piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to attach that. This is going to be the back of the card, literally on the back of the card. It's a lovely bright colour, but I didn't want it to be overwhelming. I actually wanted this to work for either a male or a female. The last card I made was for a couple and it was almost just a bit pink, so I thought I'll put the darker colour on it and it just tones it down a little bit. So something for everyone, as they say. I'm going to do the same thing, same measurements for the inside of the card. So 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'm going to put that in the centre of my card. Easy bits out the way first. I've got a third piece of black cardstock, which is again 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. In the centre, and I've roughly looked for the centre. You can be more precise, but that's pretty much central. I might turn it that way because I think it's slightly wider there than there. And I've cut that out using the circular stitch framelit die. I've gone for the second smallest, which is that one, and I've cut that out using my Big Shot. Now, as I said in my previous video, it's not the end of the world if you don't have a Big Shot, because a punch would work the same. But oh yeah, that's the sort of hole you want, which is about 1 3/4 across. I did mention that this is a brilliant set to add to your crafting supplies if you do have a Big Shot, because you've got a choice there of ovals, circles and squares. So you've got multiple shapes and sizes within one set. And I've got that written down somewhere. No, can't find it at the moment. Oh, there we are, £28. So that's a really good piece of equipment to add if you've got, as I say, a Big Shot. I don't need to put that away because I actually need this other one as well. Prepared and organised is not my middle name or any name of mine, if I'm honest. Right, so if you can imagine, I've cut out that piece of card and I've now got a complete circle. I've then taken the smallest stitch framelit and I've then cut through the centre of that larger circle to give me that. So that's the piece I want, that's the piece I'm left with. Now this has no relevance to this card whatsoever, but I actually quite like that, so I'm going to put that to one side because I'm sure I can find a use for that. So put that back on there. Again, I mentioned when you get the Thinlits or framelit sets, they always come nicely secured on paper, but once you start using them, that can become a bit of an issue. These magnetic sheets are absolutely brilliant for keeping them all together. Well worth investing in. Readily available. I got mine off of Amazon, so just Google it on there. So that's that bit. I'm using the Tropical Chic stamp set. This comes in wood mount or clear mount. I'm using the clear mount. I seem to have... I'm going to have to just stop the video for a moment because I've not brought my stamps in. Yeah, sorry about that. I can't leave things lying around with these 3 cats, and I'd actually forgot to bring these in with me. So I'm using this one, and because I use a lot of thank you cards, I'm going to make this as a thank you card, so I'm using that sentiment out of this set. I'm going to do the middle bit first, because that's the bit that can go wrong, because I'm actually going to stamp that live. I'm using Lovely Lipstick as my ink pad, and I've mentioned before, if you go for the clear mount stamps and you're having trouble getting them to stick on your block, then just use a little bit of lip salve. Just trying to line that up a little bit without getting on my fingers. Right, so I'm going for that in the middle. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm going to be using this image on the front, but I'm also going to add that to the corner here. I'll just stamp that off actually because it's quite a bright colour. Yeah, that's good. Unlike my video that I did earlier with the boxes, that's gone quite well. So I'm going to now stick that using snail into the centre of the card. And then I'm going to take this one with the hole in the middle and I'm going to attach that to the front of the card. Now, something I learnt with the box was it makes life easier when you trim these leaves down. So I've used, no, I haven't used that, I've used that Thinlit from the tropical Thinlit dies. That's cut out these leaves. And I've done those in a lovely lipstick, Granny Green Apple, and Pineapple Grove, is it? I want to say Grove, I'm not 100% sure. It's one of the new colours. No, Pineapple Punch. Grapefruit Grove, Pineapple Punch. So that is Pineapple Punch. I had a 50-50 chance, didn't I? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the bottom of the leaf so I've not got so much card to get in my way, basically. And because it's a bigger area, you can actually fit in 6 leaves, so you can introduce this extra colouring. The box was a little bit small for that, worked a treat on there. Right. So as before, I'm going to use some Tombow in the middle. I'm just going to splosh some Tombow in there. That's where I get my hands all sticky. It's brilliant glue for this, purely because it gives you that wiggle room and you can move your leaves or whatever it is you're trying to stick. You've got a bit of room there to, or a bit of time rather, to adjust them accordingly. I actually want the yellow one to fit within the card, so I'm going to just trim that a bit more. I'm sort of doing this and thinking about it as I go because I've not trimmed it before, but it certainly works better. So a bit more on there. Ignore the fact I've got glue there because that isn't supposed to happen. I can't seriously be trusted to work cleanly. There we go. But that will actually dry clear, so it's not the end of the world. It will be the end of the world if I stick something on it and it gets stuck to it though, so I should do my utmost not to do that. Right, there we go. Just going to grab a baby wipe. So not doing myself any favours at the moment. Right, so I'm quite happy with that design. Let's bring that one out a little bit. And then I'm going to stick another splodge of glue in the middle just to make sure that that really holds those leaves down. Then I'm going to take this piece of card that I've cut out and I'm going to stick that on the top with some Stampin' Dimensionals. There's a good bit of glue there, so I'm just going to go with the 2 because in addition to these holding that in position, the big splodge of Tombow will do the same thing. So I'm going to go there in the middle with that, so you've still got quite a good view of the under circle of the lovely lipstick, so you've got a contrast there. Now the sensible thing with that is to put that to one side and just let it dry. Okay, I did have it's gone. I had one of these cut out and it's disappeared. So I'm just going to ask you to use your imagination now. You need to cut out one of these, stamp it with the lovely lipstick and cut it out, and then you add some Wink of Stella with that. Very frustrating because it's got to be on here somewhere. Can you perhaps stop that for a minute? Alright, sorry about that. I have to admit this is not one of my best efforts, is it? But I've got to say I'm in a rush. I needed to get this done today, but I'm also rushing to have to do something else. Anyway, I have found the piece I cut out earlier. So just to reiterate, I stamped it with that stamp on white card with lovely lipstick ink. I'm going to, as you'd expect from me, apply some Wink of Stella to it. I'm just going over the petals and I'm trying to leave the white pieces of detail rather than going over the whole thing, which will give the centre a more of a pink colouring. Work really well to blend colours as well as adding shimmer, but equally if you don't want to do that, you just need to keep it more within the lines of your stamped image. To be fair, this is why I tend to always go with snail adhesive whenever I can, because I don't get it all over my fingers. I like to call it creativity. Generally I would actually think it's probably defined as being messy, but there you go. I'm going to attach that with a stamping dimensional. I'm just going to retrieve my card. I'm going to stick that just in the middle there, and that's it. Now the odd touches of glue that are still visible will dry and you won't see them, and that is the finished card. So I hope that's inspired you to have a go at that. I will put all the details of all the products that I've used on the start of the video so that you know what I've used. If you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you subscribe to my channel, you will just get notified when I upload a video, so you get to choose whether or not you fancy giving it a look. Final piece of news, I can't go without mentioning this. The new autumn winter catalogue goes live on the 5th of this month, so it's all really exciting. I can only show you the front of the catalogue at the moment, not the inside, but there's only a few days left before we can all see it. It will be live on my online shop from the 5th. I'll put a link on for that so you can have a look. Personally, I think there's nothing better than actually having a hard copy of a catalogue to flick through with a nice cup of tea or whatever. So if you fancy a catalogue, then do please send me a private message on my Facebook page. I'll put a link on for that. So just send me your name and address and ask me to send you a copy of the catalogue. I'll be very happy to do that. Equally, if you fancy being added to my mailing list, you basically receive a monthly newsletter as well as any updates on Stampin' Up offers and promotions. So again, just send me a private message and I can add you to my mailing list. So I think that's all I've got to say. My next video will be a walk through the catalogue. So until then, thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.